Welcome back to the Low Tech Podcast. Today we are doing something simple, helpful, and honestly pretty fun. By the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly which cooking show you should watch next.
And we're not just doing random recommendations either. We're trying to narrow it down by the kind of viewing experience that you're actually looking for, because not every cooking show is trying to give you the same thing.
Honestly, that's what makes this fun. These are all food shows, but they scratch completely different itches.
Exactly. Some cooking shows want to impress you, some want to hype you up, some want to calm you down, and today we picked 3 of the biggest examples of that.
Today we're going to be covering Top Chef, Tournament of Champions, and my personal favorite, The Great British Baking Show.
Such a great trio. On paper, they sound similar, but once you actually watch them, they are nothing alike.
Right? So this is not really about crowning one universal winner. It's more about figuring out what kind of mood you're in.
And that is the better question, honestly. Because the right show for a Friday night might not necessarily be the right show for like a nice, slow, lazy Sunday afternoon.
Or even the right show for the amount of energy you have. Sometimes you want to lean in, sometimes you just want to enjoy yourself.
So here's the easiest way to frame this episode. If you want prestige, that point goes to Top Chef. If you want adrenaline, that point goes to Tournament of Champions. And if you want comfort, that goes to the British Bake Off.
And that's the short version.
Now let's justify it.
Before we go show by show, let's set up how we're judging these. I think there are 4 things that matter most.
The first is the format. What kind of structure does the show use, and how does that change the experience?
Second is what you're really rooting for. Are you watching for the chef's personalities or just that competition itself?
Third is pacing. Is this something you settle into over time, or does it hook you right away?
And fourth is the emotional vibe. How does this show make you feel while you're watching?
Last one may be the biggest, honestly, because that's where these 3 really separate themselves.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's start with the prestige pick. When I think of Top Chef, the first word that comes to mind is serious.
Same. It feels polished, high level, and very intentional. It wants you to actually respect and pay attention to what the chefs are doing.
Yeah, this is one that feels the most like a professional proving ground.
And that's a big reason why it's lasted. Top Chef is not just about surviving one flashy round. It's about proving yourself over time.
And that long form part really matters. You're watching chefs build a season, not just win a moment. They have to adapt, recover, and stay creative week after week.
Honestly, that's the part I really like. It rewards consistency. You're not just looking for one highlight. You're looking for who can actually sustain that excellence.
Yeah, and I think that's why people who really love food tend to respect Top Chef. It makes cooking feel like a craft and a career, not just a spectacle.
Exactly. The judging feels thoughtful, and the challenges usually feel connected to real culinary skill, and the contestants usually come in with actual credibility.
It's also one that makes me think I would actually book a reservation to eat this food.
Exactly. Top Chef makes the food feel aspirational.
But there is a trade-off. Because of that intensity, it's not always the easiest to instantly watch out of the 3.
No, it asks a little more from you. You have to care about the process, you have to follow the arc, you have to give it some time.
Which is great if that's what you want. If you like growth arcs and watching skill reveal itself over time, Top Chef is rewarding.
So, if we're summing it up, this one is the strongest long-form journey. Probably the most prestigious and the best choice if you want to be impressed.
This is the one for the viewers who want the full story.
So, the one-line takeaway for Top Chef is this. If you want food TV to feel like a real test of excellence, start here.
And now we jump to the complete opposite energy.
Alright, the Tournament of Champions. This show does not walk into the room quietly.
No, no it does not. This is easily the loudest and the fastest of the 3.
Yeah, I gotta agree. This show basically kicks the door wide open.
And that's the appeal. If Top Chef is a season-long climb, Tournament of Champions is immediate pressure.
This is the show that feels most like an actual sport. You've got the bracket, the head-to-head battles, and the urgency of one chef moving on and one chef going home.
That structure makes it so easy to get into. You do not have to wait for it to find its rhythm. It grabs you right away.
That's one of its biggest strengths. If somebody says they want a cooking show that is exciting tonight, not next week, this is the easiest recommendation.
And the chefs are still legit. That part matters. This is not just noise. There is real talent on screen.
Absolutely. But the format is the star, the matchups, the timer, randomness, the drama. It's designed for momentum.
It also feels more bingeable in an immediate way. You can watch one battle and get that instant payoff.
Exactly. Top Chef tends to reward patience, whereas Tournament of Champions rewards attention in the moment.
And honestly, sometimes that's exactly what you want. Not a slow build, just pressure, reaction, stakes, and a winner.
This is the game night version of food TV.
That's exactly what it is. Food competition with sports energy.
I also think this is the easiest one to recommend to someone who does not usually watch food TV. It's just instantly accessible.
That's a great point. Now, if you want a quieter, more chef-driven journey, this may not be your first pick. It's louder by design.
But if your goal is kind of that louder, slightly chaotic kind of fun, it's a hard one to beat.
So for summing it up, this is the easiest instant watch, the most adrenaline-heavy, best choice if you want excitement fast.
The one-line takeaway here is easy. If you want cooking shows to feel like a game night, this is the one.
Perfect. And now we go on to the show that somehow turns competition into comfort. So, I personally love the Great British Baking Show, and it's one of my favorites because it is the warmest cooking show that I think I've ever seen as far as like actual vibe goes.
Okay, so sell me on the Great British Baking Show.
That is easy enough to do. So, I haven't watched it in a while, but when I was a little younger, I don't even know I was younger, like a few years ago, my family would always get together and watch the British Baking Show. And I never really liked cooking shows much before, but this one, the entire vibe is just so cozy and homey. Plus you have the fantastic like British and Irish accents from every single person there, which just makes it so much easier to listen to. And like everyone is so friendly and welcoming, and like the competitors almost feel more like friends doing a competition rather than just like straight up competitors or enemies, which I feel like can sometimes be the vibe from other cooking shows, at least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a character will need some extra butter, or they'll be like running low on time, and another competitor who's already finished will come over and like legitimately help them to finish their project, even though they're the competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so more of a kind of exhibition style thing, not really playing for keeps, but playing for the fun of it, the fun of baking.
Yeah, exactly. And you can tell that the people there are really passionate about their craft. The show is usually split into 3 different, I guess, sections per episode. You have the initial section, which I think is just like a simple starter. And then you have the technical challenge, which is where competitors are given ingredients and like very heavily simplified instructions, but there's very rarely a baking time or like a baking temp. So this really shows the actual talent and skill of the competitors, because they have to know how these ingredients would go together naturally and what time to bake them at and what temperature and all that. And then the episode finishes off with the showstopper, which is what it sounds like. It's the grand finale of the episode. And based on those 3 events that they do, the 2 judges then decide who gets to leave and who is the star baker that week. And then it just gets narrowed down until there's 3 remaining.
Okay. So they have a 2-judge system. I know most shows have 3 for like a tiebreaker. Or at least most that I've seen, anyway.
So the British Baking Show has the 2 hosts. It is currently I don't know their last names, but it's Paul and Prue are
Okay.
the two current judges. And then there's also two, I would call them like personality hosts. They're the ones that kind of go around the tent and like see how everyone's doing, see like what they're deciding to make for that particular challenge. And I believe that sometimes they can also help influence the judges if they're kind of torn. Or if not giving like an outright opinion, they just kind of help the judges sort through their thoughts. Because sometimes after an episode, like before they decide who the winner and the loser are, it shows a shot of the two judges sitting down with the two additional personality co-hosts, and they're just discussing like what they thought during the show.
Okay.
Interesting. So it's more of a get to see what the bakers completely in their element, doing everything at their own pace, get to see what they're really made of rather than any kind of rules, sets, boundaries to make it that competitive feel, but still has just enough to make you leave you wonder who's going to win it all.
Exactly. And it is a fantastic show if you're wanting something with still that slight unknown factor of any competition show, but also you want something that's more low-key and feels more warm and friendly. It's a fantastic comfort show, personally.
Well, now that we've talked through all three, this is where it gets fun. These shows almost feel like three different answers to the same question.
And that question being, what do you want Food TV to do for you?
Are you looking for something that's going to impress you, energize you, relax you?
If you want to admire excellence and follow a serious culinary journey, Top Chef is the pick for you.
If you're wanting immediate energy in the most sports-like version of a cooking competition, Tournament of Champions is the one for you.
And if you just kind of want to sit back, relax, connect with some people, and still really enjoy the skill, Bake Off is definitely the pick.
So, in a weird way, they're not really fighting for the exact same viewer.
No, not at all. They're fighting for different moods from the viewer.
And that's why this is actually an easy recommendation once you frame it that way.
All right, let's do a few quick listener scenarios. Most respected opinion?
Top Chef.
Easily.
Most fun and high energy tonight?
Tournament of Champions.
That one feels immediate.
Best one to unwind with?
Definitely Bake Off.
Is that even a question?
Best for people who care more about chefs and food?
Probably still Top Chef.
And then, best one episode hook?
Like we talked about before, Tournament of Champions is pretty easy to get into.
It gets to the point fast.
Best comfort watch is easily British Bake Off.
All right, so when it comes down to it, are you a Top Chef viewer, a Tournament of Champions viewer, or a Bake Off viewer?
Well, I'm definitely a Bake Off viewer personally. I love me a good cozy show.
Yeah, but you can't put away that competitive feel of Tournament of Champions.
That is true.
That's fair.
All right, well, thanks everyone for hanging out with us today.
Yeah, this was a blast.
We'll catch you all next time.